Of course that broke. Oh. Welcome everybody to Esports Canada TV, episode number 56. I'm your host, John Quinn, at Quinn of the Net. I'm not joined by any co-host tonight because there was not enough room to fit in our fantastic guest this evening. He is here to pump up the event that we all know is happening this weekend, WCS Season 3 Grand Finals happening in Toronto starting Friday all the way through Sunday. The top 16 StarCraft players in the world are going to be there. So will I, and so is this man. His name is Joshua Clutch Gray. Josh, welcome again to Esports Canada TV.
It's been a while, John. It's exciting to be here, and I'm really excited to talk about the WCS Season 3 Finals that are going to be happening in one of the greatest countries in the world when it comes to esports, Canada.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you again for joining us. I know you had a busy weekend doing a couple different tournaments, so I'm glad you could make it. I know it was last minute, so thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation. As I told you before, I haven't had a day off in about 2 weeks, and we pull about 10 to 12 to 15-hour days sometimes, so I'm incredibly exhausted, but I'm taking this time to prepare to make it to Canada because they deserve to have the best show, and for me to give the best show, I'm going to have to be 100%, so it just means like chilling today, tomorrow, and doing laundry and making sure everything's good to go. But I'm really excited, really excited to make it to Toronto once again.
Well, on behalf of the thousands of people that are going to be there screaming in your face, you definitely do need your rest before it all kicks off on Friday. But before we jump into kind of the hype leading into this season finals, I want to talk about NASL. You guys had a bit of a break there where you weren't in the loop really when it comes to WCS, and you were lucky enough to get onto WCS Season 2. How was it kind of transitioning between that long off period and then jumping back into it, producing content on the regular?
Well, we were excited because we had heard some announcements and were part of the talks for what was happening with WCS. But when we were just trying to figure out what we're going to do as a company, if StarCraft was not going to be a viable solution for our daily broadcast because we would not be able to broadcast at the same time at WCS, we created the show The Pulse, which a lot of people really enjoyed, and it allowed a lot of us to branch out of what we had been doing every day of StarCraft content and expanding more into other games that have been happening. We even had a League of Legends episode. I was doing a lot of Dota coverage and also talking to game developers in general. So it was very unique time for us to use the power of our studio and our editors and everything to create these really well done shows that were even better than what Spike TV would produce for gaming, or better than even what CBS was doing for gaming. It was more entertaining, it was faster, and it was all live. It wasn't pre-edited except for a couple segments. So it really was very innovative, and we were doing things that was new in our space, but television had been doing for a long time, and a lot of people were equating it to television, and that was a very nice position to be in. But of course, the funding wasn't there that television got, so it was tough at first because we're keep waiting. We're looking at different strategies to go to, and then World of Tanks became one of our partners, became one of our clients, and we're really excited about that. I was the only North American commentator in North America that pretty much knew the game because I had done it in China. And I really enjoyed it. It's a different type of game, and so that was one of the cards that we had for World of Tanks, for Wargaming. He's like, hey, we have Clutch here, and he knows the game. So that was really fun to do that, but it was a whirlwind of activity. And then while we had that, StarCraft comes to us and says, hey, we'd like to partner with you for Season 2. So we're like, okay, so now we're doing StarCraft again, and we have World of Tanks. And we wrapped up the Pulse, and we put all of our man hours into World of Tanks and StarCraft 2, which is very exciting. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people there originally were for StarCraft 2, so they're excited to be a part of it. But it's a continual ongoing process to make it a better and better show for both games, both for World of Tanks and StarCraft 2. That's where we are right now.
Was there a lot of rust getting back into the whole StarCraft run when you guys got back together for season three?
I mean, it was different. It wasn't an NASL season, so we had to look at the format, which was difficult and confusing. I'm not going to lie to you there.
Yep.
The format for WCS is not where it should be, and I'm sure Blizzard would say the same thing. But it is a good format to try to tell a unified story. And right now, that unified story is what's happening in Toronto this weekend, and then what's happening at BlizzCon. That's what all of this WCS experiment has led into, and that's why Blizzard announced that they're going to make some changes in 2014. Some of the official changes that they did announce, I do like, and some of the changes that are not happening yet that are still being discussed. It's still up in the air with some things. I have kind of my own vision of how it would work a lot better than what it is, but obviously I don't have the same information that Blizzard has. And Blizzard, as our client, we have to listen to them, we have to accommodate them, and that's very, very important. But they're very excited about Toronto. They're very excited about BlizzCon. So not rusty in terms of the game itself, but it was a different format, and of course, Heart of the Swarm had come out, and we were really kind of waiting on that for its release, and we did a lot of production around that. I did the story so far, 2 episodes of that people really enjoyed. I mean, Mike Morheim came up to me and said, "I really love that show. People at Blizzard really enjoyed it. Thank you so much." So yeah, well, I enjoyed reading all the books. I enjoyed the story, and so it was fun to do that. But I think we're pretty much back in the swing of things. As you guys saw, we've done 2 seasons now for WCS, and they've both been very successful and a lot of fun. The thing that we're trying to figure out, and I keep pushing, and Mr. Bitter keeps pushing this, is better award ceremonies, because they are just so awkward. So awkward.
You guys had a really good one when you were in Toronto here for the season 3 finals.
Oh yeah, Toronto was great.
Barring a few head injuries, but
yes, as Dan slipped and fell pretty hard there. But it's a thing where it becomes a last minute planning thing for a lot of tournaments, because they're trying to plan so much else, like just to get the show started and running, that it becomes a side thought. And now that we know how to run a show, that's always becomes part of the list, like a top 10 list of what we need to have, and that's a good awards ceremony. So hopefully for Toronto, we'll be able to wow you guys.
Fantastic. Now, speaking of Toronto, there was a lot of rumors kind of swirling around during the kind of off period when you guys weren't sure, which direction you were going to go, where people were saying we're never going to come back to Toronto. How did Toronto get back into the mix?
Well, the viewing audience is still huge in Toronto, and we have the proof. We have more proof than any other company, probably besides Major League Gaming a number of years ago when they went to Canada, that Canadians show up. And that's what people want to see. That's what venues want to see. If they're going to host a tournament, they want to see what kind of money is going to bring into that location. The restaurants around the area want to see what kind of turnout there's going to be. And the ticket sales already prove that we are going to be above and beyond the crowd that we had last time we were in Toronto already. So we're very excited for it. And once again, Canada answers the call, and they're ready and willing to answer it, which is fantastic that people show up. So Toronto's always had a strong point of that, because NASL took a chance at season 3 with the finals, and I got to go, and I was mystified. I was so enraptured by how much energy there was, and how the Canadians sang their national anthem. No other country has done that in this generation of esports. You guys are the best audience that we've had so far per person. Maybe not the largest that we've had, just because of the venue, because MLG Anaheim was huge. But I did Anaheim, then a little bit later I did season 3 of NASL, and I went, these crowds rival each other, not in size but in spirit, and that was awesome.
Now, leading up to Toronto, of course, we had the America Finals this past weekend, and you were involved with that. Can you walk me through that sort of tournament and how that was a warm-up for this big weekend coming up?
Yeah, well, the round of 16, we had that, and we debuted our studio that we built for StarCraft, which is awesome. It was brand new, and we had a live crowd, which is great. People really enjoyed it. The last time that we tried to do the round of 16, we were going to do it at a bar in Santa Monica, but it burned down. So we had to last minute figure out what we were going to do. And the biggest challenge we have with location is internet. Does the location have good enough internet for us to run a show? And a lot of bars don't. So that's what really limits the locations for any of these events that are happening. And we decided that we would do it in the brand new section of our office, which we did in season 2. In season 3, we had a complete studio built out, which was great, and it was fun for the audience to be there. We had good lighting set up. It was a very cool vibe, and hopefully we can utilize that more in the future. But with the round of 16, we wanted to keep building the stories of the players. And Greetorp, Rotterdam, Mr. Bitter, and Gosu User worked very, very hard to look at the different parts and pieces of all the matches, starting from the round of 32, that helped paint the player's picture. Unfortunately, these shows run so quickly, and there's so many matches in one day, that there's only so much hype we can put in for one player when there's 16 there, when there's a number of players there. So with that storyline, we continued the narrative, and every story got highlighted, every player got highlighted, every player had camera time, every player was interviewed. So sponsors will be happy about that, ROI's happy about that, and every player has a chance to tell their story in front of the camera, and that's what we found to be very, very important. So that was the goal of round of 16. With that storyline over, with the conclusion of Red Bull, the Red Bull event, now we move into what is the storyline of season 3 and who's going to make it to BlizzCon. So it's not just about America anymore. It is about who is the best of StarCraft, who's going to prove it in Toronto in order to prove it again to the world in probably the largest format and forum in terms of crowd and probably broadcasting, because this is probably going to go over DirecTV. I'm not exactly sure the broadcast of Blizzard, but their esports channel and the DirecTV feed or the pay-per-view feed that you could watch on BlizzCon, they would have that separate channel. So it's huge. So that's mainly what we're pushing into. Who is the best in StarCraft 2?
So speaking of the best, I want to take a look at the players who are going to be there in Toronto. Ozpol, Jadong, Hero, Hack, Buell, MMA, Genius, Vortex, MC, Duck Duck, Deer, Trap, Maru, Sulky, and Sue. Who do you got?
Bolt. No contest. He's going to win the whole thing. MMA will get third place. MMA, this is the story of MMA, this tournament, because after what happened with Slayers, he's never been the same performance-wise, and now this is his chance to shine again in front of a huge crowd. And it's a chance for me to see him again. I haven't seen him in over a year.
Yeah.
And him and I have a lot of history together, and we kind of bonded like brothers a little bit because of my involvement with StarCraft 2 coming over to the United States, and the Koreans first coming and working with Slayers and with Boxer and Jessica and MMA and the other players, and then with the last time there was BlizzCon and MMA winning, and they Gom filmed a little video with me talking about MMA and picking him to win. So it was really, really cool, but it feels like such a different era. It feels such a long time ago because everything has changed since the inception of WCS this year. But to me, the story is MMA coming back, ready to perform, and Polt winning it for America. That's the story for Toronto.
And then we'll sing the American national anthem.
Oh, well, unfortunately, you guys don't have a Canadian there. We secretly were hoping, Huck or Scarlett to do very, very well in order to make it. But no matter what we hope or what we think is going to happen, there's always upsets, and players have to perform in that moment, and the ones that do move on. And that's why we have all these great Korean players and Vortex, which is still going to be a fun show, a very fun show to see who's going to be the best.
Now, speaking of Huck and Scarlett not making it, and I have this conspiracy theory where their groups were left to like the very, very end of the round of 16. Was that done on purpose to kind of keep the hype rolling?
Not that I know of. The groups. I'm not part of the group selection. The admin and the account manager Blizzard handle that. And whenever it comes down to choices, I'm not sure on planning. For the most part, for who's in what group, there is randomization. Whatever's the most fair is randomization. Yeah. But, yeah.
I just saw it and I was like, wow, it's like a week before the event. We still don't know if there's going to be a Canadian or not. So
yeah, it's tough. It's tough for all these players. Don't know if Max said's going to go or not, and so we have a week to try to figure out if he's going to need a visa for Canada. Yeah. That's very difficult. Which is one of the reasons why Blizzard was saying not to have the big season finals every season. They kind of want to save it more to the end because it is very, very difficult logistically to get these players to another country within 1 week. So
is everyone
it's possible,
from,
but yeah.
Is everyone from WCS America there still in California and will be going directly to Canada from there?
Um, I know a number of players are
Okay.
because going back to
Korea
and then going to
Toronto.
Canada,
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense money wise or time wise. So I know a number of players are still here.
And do we know when the groups will be announced?
There was an announcement today that came out. Let me look at the link real quick because I went through it, make sure it looked fine. No, it's just the format setting and the tiebreakers, so they have not put out the groups yet, to my knowledge.
I think that was for BlizzCon. They set out the tiebreakers and the
Yeah,
format.
that's what it came out from Blizzard. Because somebody was like, "Is this for the round of 16, best of fives? We're gonna have a 15-hour broadcast." And then the person responded, "No, this is for BlizzCon." And a couple of us went, "Oh, okay, good,
Oh, thank God.
good, yeah, 15-hour day. Oh man."
So, are there any sort of extras we can expect in Toronto? I know for the last NASL finals you guys did, you had the free for all match and that sort of fun aspect. Is there anything special you guys have planned for Toronto you can give us the scoop on?
Well, that's one of the biggest reasons why people love the NASL crew so much when we were doing NASL and now with WCS. Of course, we plan some fun things that brings an entire entertainment package to the show. It's not just watching matches in a tournament, because that is very, very important. That's the main drive of the tournament. It's also having fun with everyone involved, of like, hey, we're all here enjoying this. Let's have a good time, in order to really feel kind of the broad spectrum of entertainment, especially for some people that never have seen this before. Maybe they're not really into the competition, but they like to see a fun show. And so we like to put that in before the semifinals and the finals, because it's jovial, it's fun. We get people really revved up, and it's like a pregame show or a pregame performance of an artist or someone, and then you really get set for the finals. So yeah, it's going to be a marathon of days when it comes to Friday and Saturday, because it's all StarCraft, just having fun. I'll be there, of course, doing interviews, having fun with the audience, maybe picking out some personalities and having a good time. But we're trying to build a story of who is the best in StarCraft. And then when we are really close to finding out, that's when we kind of have a good pregame show before the semifinals and the finals. So definitely expect that. I know Canada are going to be entertained. And we have, one of the best crews to execute this. And we did it last time in Canada, and we're going to do it again, this time bigger and better. And I think some people's jaws are going to drop with what we're able to do there production-wise, which is going to be great.
Now, as well, there's also going to be the debut of the esports documentary that was filmed last year at NASL Season 3 and then continuing throughout the year, focusing on evil geniuses. So that's going to be debuting Saturday night, 8 Eastern on Global TV. So hopefully stuff slows down Saturday night and the games are all done so we can all get home and watch that documentary.
Yeah, or maybe find if we can stream it and see if we have permission to. Then I'll buy popcorn. If anybody wants to get
you heard
soda.
it. The 3,000 people that are going to be there. It's all in the clutch.
And maybe one kernel of popcorn each.
Yeah,
we'll
got that esports money.
Try to make it happen. Oh, yeah. That's what bought all these posters. These
exactly.
Back there. That esports money.
4 months of work right there. Now, I want to talk about your involvement with World of Tanks, just because you touched on that earlier, that you are kind of the hardest working guy in North American World of Tanks. You're headed to Las Vegas, November 16th and 17th. Can you keep me up to date for someone that doesn't follow the World of Tanks scene too much?
Of course. So there's multiple regions. There's 5 different regions for World of Tanks. You have Korea, China, Russia, Europe, North America, and Southeast Asia. And each of those regions, and it is region locked, each of those regions have a tournament, a league that happens. And for us, there's a $100,000 prize pool in the league. There's 2 qualifiers that happen for teams to join. In Season 2, we had multiple teams join us from Season 1, also some relegation matches, some other tournaments like kind of like the minor leagues that happened that Wargaming held, and the 2 winners of there joined the league. So we had the top 16 of America join us for 3 weeks of league play, 4 times a night, Thursday through Sunday. There's 5 matches each night. Each match is about an hour, and we cruised through that league, and it was a lot of fun. There was a huge Cinderella story of a team called River of Blood that was down 0-3, and then went on to win their next 4 matches, and they went through the playoffs last night, and they're going to go to Vegas. They did the same thing in Season 1, so we're really excited to have them back. But in Season 1, the team that took it, Fulcrum Gaming, they took home $50,000 for first place. And they came back in Season 2, obviously the highest seed, and they lost their first match. The first time they ever lost before at all, because they were undefeated in Season 1. So Season 2 was this roller coaster of all these storylines developing for all these different teams. And we're going to have the Season 2 finals in Vegas November 16th and 17th. $100,000 prize pool once again for the top 8 teams that are going to be joining us. And we're going to have it at Treasure Island. It was a lot of fun last time. That was actually my first time in Vegas, and I'm really looking forward to the second time. The crowd was a lot of fun. The players had a really good time. They have some awesome personalities, and it's going to be great. And I remember when StarCraft 2 first started in North America for MLG, there was only one bench there for spectators. And there was a projection screen and then a corner where the players were. So Wargaming, they may not have the most viewers right now, but they are the leaders in so many things when it comes to this industry. And they are continuing to push that, and people are starting to see, wow, look at this production value, look at these storylines developing, and look at the strategies that we see here in the game. It is a different type of game. It's like a shooter, but it's more strategic. And you have 7 people instead of a team of 5. And at first, it's a little bit daunting with the amount of information, the different type of tanks, but you start to really get into it like I did, and it's really, really enjoyable. And that's pretty much the gist of it, man. I look forward to the finals happening in Vegas, and then we're going to have a Season 3 as well. That's going to take us all the way to February, and then there's going to be a huge global finals. And when it comes to production value, I think that this is going to rival Riot, maybe even exceed them for what they've done with League of Legends.
Wow.
Wargaming is in this, like as I said, they may not have the most viewers, but they have a hell of a lot of players. I mean, a lot of players that play this game. And they are definitely leaders when it comes to the space. And I'm just talking about esports. You go to the E3 booth, Wargaming has the best booth. You go to the PAX booth, Wargaming has the best booth. Not just because I'm the host there, which is a huge plus, but it's the best
coincidence.
booth. Yeah, we have the most crowds. We have the most people popping in. We have the biggest giveaways. Everybody's really enjoying the game. They like talking about the games that Wargaming has. So it's impeccable. It's impressive where they are as a company, and now they're getting into the console space with World of Tanks on Xbox, which is free to play, free to play console game. And even the CEO was a little bit aggravated that Xbox still required people to pay the Xbox Live price because he wanted people to play World of Tanks without having Xbox Gold, Xbox Live. But that's just how it was. So I'm thinking, wow, he really wants this to be free to play so people can enjoy it. And they're doing a lot of things right, man. A lot of things right. So I'm excited to be a part of it, and it's paying my bills, which is great. But so is StarCraft, and so is a couple endeavors that I'm involved in right now. And one of the most important things when it comes to entertainment is to be very, very flexible, because with the more flexibility that you have, the more opportunities you can pursue.
There was a question earlier in chat, and feel free to give a non-answer on this because it is a very, very difficult question.
Okay.
If you had to choose between StarCraft and World of Tanks,
whoever pays me the most amount of money. As much as I love StarCraft 2, guys, I have to pay off school debt. I just paid off on my credit cards, which is a fantastic feeling. I have an apartment to pay for. One day I want to have to, start a family. So that's the best answer I can give because that's the most honest answer.
Fair enough. I would choose League of Legends. I would not, dear God. No.
Yeah. Funny piece of trivia about me. I was the first North American host for League of Legends.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When they first came to MLG, I was the host for it. And then StarCraft saw me hosting for them because I was helping produce both as a production assistant. And there's some issue with League of Legends, so I went on, put on a suit jacket, went in front of a camera, talked about what was happening, and then StarCraft saw that and they went, "Okay, we're going to use you as a host now." I was like, "All right, cool. StarCraft's the bigger game. That's great, yeah." And
And then you
my other
watched,
tables have turned.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
watched the
crazy.
LCS finals and cried for 4 hours.
No, it was. I
No,
tried to
no.
go. I tried to go. Some people at Riot wanted me to be there, and I couldn't because we were broadcasting tanks. But it looked like a great show, and some people from the office were able to go, and they took some notes. They got some ideas, and some people from Wargaming went too, and they took some notes and got some ideas. It was neat.
Nice. Uh, Now, last time you were on, you probably remember the lightning round. This is going to be a very short lightning round. There's only going to be one question, and it's not going to be an easy question. For anyone who's not familiar with the lightning round, it's usually 10 skill testing questions. They're physically, mentally demanding.
Okay.
There's no forgiveness in the lightning round. There's only the lightning round. But because I know you're tired and you need to get your rest before Toronto, the one question for the lightning round: how excited on a scale of 1 to 25 million are you for the WCS Season 3 Grand Finals in Toronto this weekend?
Only way to answer that is by this. Are you ready? The crowd's gonna go nuts, man. That's how I feel.
Well, any last shout-outs or words for Canada before you hit the dusty trail?
Well, huge thank you to you, John. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Again, I was impressed by you and the rest of the crew last time we were in Canada, so we look forward to seeing you in Canada. We're coming back, and we're so glad that you're welcoming us with open arms. It's going to be a fantastic show. You're going to enjoy it, and I'll see you in a couple days.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Clutch. Be sure to follow Clutch on Twitter at Clutch08, and make sure to tune in this weekend, of course, or be there live if you're cool enough to do so.
All right. Thank you, John.
Thank you, man. Guys, I know a lot of you are here for the Hearthstone beta keys. We will be getting to those right about now. So how we're going to give away those keys is like so. I want you to tweet to at Clutch08 and to at eSports_Canada with how excited you are for Toronto. What are you most hyped about? What are you most looking forward to? What player you're rooting for? Anything having to do with WCS Toronto this weekend. Tweet to Clutch08 and Esports Canada, and in say 10 minutes, I will look at all of those on Twitter and see who's going to walk away with 2 Hearthstone beta keys. In the meantime, I do want to plug some things that are going on throughout Canada that have to do with WCS Toronto, but aren't necessarily that aren't in Toronto. So if we look at the list of barcrafts happening throughout Canada, we have Morden, Manitoba, which is the first one in Manitoba I've seen, so congratulations to Manitoba, as well as Saskatoon. There's one happening in Toronto, actually, even though the finals are there as well. Waterloo and Windsor, so Ontario is being represented quite well. So we can take a look at these. In Manitoba, in Morden, it's going to be the 25th of October all the way until the 27th of October. I'm not sure if they're going to be there the entire weekend, but you can check that out if you are in the area. In Saskatoon, it's going to be happening Sunday as well. And Windsor, the guys from eSport Gaming Event, will be hosting one in Windsor, in Waterloo, and of course in Toronto at the Loose Moose. So if you're not lucky enough to get tickets to WCS this weekend, or if you can only spare an hour or two and you can't somehow make it to the event, head down to the Loose Moose. There's going to be a ton of people there from what I hear, and they're going to have prizes and a ton of food and drinks. So please do that if you cannot make it to the event. As well, if you are going to be there for the event and you're looking to do something before it all kicks off on Friday, we do have an event being hosted by eSports Canada at the Boston Pizza on Dixon Road at 5 Carlson Court, Toronto, Ontario. We just opened this up an hour ago, so that's why there's only 3 people going, because no one knows about this yet, so you're getting the first dibs on this event. So I'll drop that link there in the chat. So we're all going to meet up at Boston Pizza Thursday before it all starts at 7 o'clock Toronto time. We're hoping to bring in maybe some people from NASL, maybe some players, something like that, but there's going to be a ton of people there. I think we booked basically the entire bar at Boston Pizza, and we're all going to get together and talk StarCraft, maybe play some games, some fun stuff, drink, eat, and be merry. So make sure to follow that event and get all the details there. And I believe it is free to get in, as are most of our events. So I will be there. So come say hi to me, s'il vous plaît. I'm going to take a look at the tweets here and see if anyone has... We got a couple. I'm going to leave that for 2 more minutes, and then we're going to call them. If you've just joined and you want the Hearthstone beta keys, you have to tweet to at eSportsCanada, at eSports_Canada and at Clutch08, and then you will be eligible. You just have to include them both in one tweet and talk about what you're most excited about for Toronto this weekend, and you will get a Hearthstone beta key. I got 2 to give away. And I got those 2 keys from a friend of mine who I played StarCraft with here in New Brunswick, who is in Korea right now teaching, and he was lucky enough to head down to the GSL finals this past weekend in Korea, and they gave out Hearthstone beta keys like it ain't no thing. So he's got some pictures here. It was his first time watching GSL there in Korea, so he was lucky enough to make it out with those 2 keys. Let's take a look and see who else do we got here. All right, I think we have enough that we can give 1 or 2 away. I'll give the first one away. Boom. Pierre L. I'm going to private message you once the show is done, but Pierre L, who is at red_SC2, you're going to walk away with a Hearthstone beta key. I'll give another 2 or 3 minutes for anyone that wants one. Make sure to tweet at Clutch08 and at eSports_Canada, and you could win one. Here they all come. Hi, I need it. You need to do better than that. That's not showing how excited you are at all. I had a crazy weekend. I was at the Frag for Cancer 8 tournament in Halifax. For any fighting game fans, CEO Jabali was there from Community Effort Orlando. And any StarCraft fans, we had Tempo, the great mind behind such songs as When I'm Grandmaster and All I Do Is Stim, was there for the events all weekend long. Yes, Ponza, I believe you were there as well. And it was a fantastic event. We were playing StarCraft, LoL, Dota, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and Melee. And then with Jabali being there from CEO, we gave away 2 trips to CEO for the winner of Marvel, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. So the winners of those were Remy Casey and Shrub. So they walked away with a trip each to Florida for CEO next year. So Jabali was there hanging out all weekend long. There was a dive kick challenge on Saturday night at the pub downstairs from the venue. So Tempo did a little performance, did some songs, and it was fantastic. And then Jabali took on people in dive kick, and he didn't lose for an entire hour in dive kick. Person after person came up, and no one could beat Jabali. So his ego grew that much bigger. Let's take a look, see who else we got. All right, 1 more minute, and then I'm going to draw for this key. So make sure to tweet at Clutch08 or at eSports_Canada. And just a reminder that Pierre L at red_SC2 has already won a key. So you can't win 2, Pierre, I'm sorry to say. It will show up Crime Wave LOL. I'll be sure to look at them all here before I pick an actual winner. Yeah, we had a huge cosplay event as well at Frag for Cancer 8. So these 2 girls came dressed up from Dota 2, Templar Assassin and Luna. And I believe they won a couple t-shirts for their amazing costumes. They were walking around all weekend getting pictures with everyone. We had a bunch of League of Legends cosplayers. We had a guy in a Majora's Mask costume. So it was a ton of fun. And we raised just over $10,000 for the Canadian Cancer Society. So everyone that showed up paid $10 to watch, $20 to play, and all that money went to charity. So congratulations to everyone who participated in Frag for Cancer 8 and made it the biggest event yet for Frag, and who raised $10,000 for charity. So I'm going to take a look here at the last few tweets and make sure I got them all here. No, Jack Glant, you can't win one. Who's gonna win it? All right, Peter Wee Young. because he made a Twitter account specifically to win this key, and he's headed to WCS, and he is excited to be there, and he made an account just for this and tweeted at Clutch and at Esports Canada. So Peter Young, Peter NG55198825. You're a winner. I will PM you along with Pierre L. After the show, and I will deliver you your Hearthstone beta keys. So congratulations to the two of you on winning that. Usually I have two co-hosts with me who help me get through the show. I do not have them tonight, so it's going to be a shorter show. I'm probably only going to talk for the next 10 minutes. And yes, Jack, you did miss Clutch, but the VOD will be up directly after the show and on YouTube tomorrow at youtube.com/eSportsCanadaTV. One bit of news that I'm probably not allowed to talk about, but I'm going to because I can. There's going to be a special guest at WCS in Toronto who's going to be performing. So if you can put together who would be able to perform at a StarCraft event, then you will figure out who's going to be there this weekend performing what I can only assume is going to be Saturday night for some large party in front of everyone. Let's just say I was with him recently at an event, possibly in Halifax. What are you saying?
I know who it is.
My girlfriend knows who it is, so she's not allowed to say. So do not tweet at Sarah White to find that out.
Not Twitter.
So guys, that's pretty much going to do it for the show this evening, unless there's any questions from the chat, which I will answer. But yeah, make sure to show up to Boston Pizza on Thursday night at 7 Eastern. I posted the event there in the chat. And join us for what can only be the best pre-party ever, because we're all going to be there, so you should be too. Thank you to our guest this evening, Clutch. Make sure to tune in this weekend to WCS Toronto and to follow all of our events for Esports Canada at esports_Canada on Twitter, facebook.com/Esports Canada, and on YouTube, youtube.com/Esports Canada TV. Thanks, everyone.
games professionally and get paid for it.
Timmy, you're gonna need a real job if you want to survive in the real world.
A real job? Oh no, I'm not good at real jobs.
I know it sounds silly, but I really, really wanna be a pro. Getting all the ladies, maybe one day I'll be starring in a show. Never dreaming, cause I'm saving several hours for sleep. I'll be playing and be playing 80 hours a week. And so silly, but little Timmy really, really wants to be a pro. It all started with my NES. Yes, it all started with my NES, and I was the very best. Carried it from various areas with a television near me. I was probably the scariest from the east to west. That's undebatable. I know you are relating to the arcade's a zoo, and I'm such an animal. Standing up for days is what Street Fighter made me do. That's understandable, cause all my friends played it too. My old lady hated. I'm staying up late, and I barely even ate, cause my diet's only 8-bit. Picture a little black, skinny ass, middle class kid that played Punch Out, doing it big with Little Mac. And now you want to play with me in Contra? Yeah, I know the memories of level 7 haunts ya. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA start. And then you tear the game apart. And I know it sounds silly, but I really, really wanna be a pro. Getting all the ladies, maybe one day I'll be starring in a show. Never dreaming, cause I'm saving several hours for sleep. I'll be playing and be playing 80 hours a week. And so silly, but little Timmy really, really wants to be a pro. Now I'm posted with Doritos in a can of Dr. Pepper. I got my Neo Geo playing Fatal Fury Special. I use a metal slugger when I'm playing Super Baseball. In 2020, I'ma still be an ace. Call anyone and everyone to come and get their dreams smashed. On Dreamcast, I was ready to rumble, so watch competitors crumble. You better run and get annihilated. Even my VMU keeps on making smiley faces. The amount of places that I own locally made me get a modem to dominate them globally. My notoriety came with such variety, to the point that society wanted to say goodbye to me. My last girl said she make my dreams be the truth, so with a big smile I threw her a Tifa suit. She said, geez, do I look like a freak to you? What's next, you gonna dress me up as Pikachu? I don't mean to be rude, but either please put this on or be gone, cause I got a game to beat her to. We broke up the next day. It's sad to me, the Final Fantasy offered to me to be reality. I know it sounds silly, but I really, really wanna be a pro. Getting all the ladies, maybe one day I'll be starring in a show. Never dreaming, cause I'm saving several hours for sleep. I'll be playing and be playing 80 hours a week. And so silly, but little Timmy really, really wants to be a pro. Remember those cold Decembers? Oh, I remember that old Nintendo. What I went through to be here, I will make this one thing clear. This road is ending. I'm almost pro. This road is ending. I said I'm almost pro. Yeah! I love my game so much, I'm getting them all mixed up. I got carpal tunnel all up in my wrist, cause FPS, RTS, and MMO RPGs make me need to AFK, but I never BRB. The payment for my car is far past due, cause of Brood War I choose more StarCraft 2. And they shut my heat off, I can't afford no dinner. Thanks to Blizzard, it's gonna be a stone cold winter. I see a soul Korea. I see a soul Korea. I see a soul Korea. I see my whole career starting in Seoul, Korea. You see my soul Koreas, but I belong in Seoul, Korea. For real. I know it sounds silly, but I really, really wanna be a pro. Getting all the ladies, maybe one day I'll be starring in a show. Never dreaming, cause I'm saving several hours for sleep. I'll be playing and be playing 80 hours a week. It's so silly, but little Timmy really, really wants to be a pro.